It's Hamilton pointing to the crowd.
Lewis Hamilton takes the lead.
Lewis Hamilton praying that the checkered flag comes.
Lewis Hamilton wins the British Grand Prix.
What if I told you that the greatest driver Formula One has ever seen?
A fantastic performance, a mesmerizing drive.
A man who once ruled the sport with unstoppable dominance
For Lewis Hamilton, it is the hat-trick of British Grand Prix wins.
is now living through one of the most shocking downfalls in racing history.
And Hamilton's onto the grass, and Hamilton's had a massive crash, and he's crashed into his teammate.
Lewis Hamilton didn't just slow down. Something happened that flipped his entire career on its head. A single moment that shattered his momentum, his confidence, and the empire he built over more than a decade. And the wildest part is, most people only saw the results.
What happened in quali?
I'm just useless.
So say again?
I'm just useless.
They didn't see the emotional cracks forming behind the scenes, the pressure building race after race, or the way one championship loss spiraled into years of chaos.
Here comes Lewis Hamilton, though, down the back straight. He's got a slipstream. He almost touches Verstappen. They almost make contact. Into turn 9, Verstappen stays ahead.
Because in today's video, we're breaking down how Lewis Hamilton lost everything. How the night he was denied his 8th world championship triggered a chain of events that led to his worst seasons, public frustration, team failures, and a level of psychological weight he hasn't faced since his rookie days. We'll look at the emotional impact that lingered far longer than anyone expected, the collapse of Mercedes that no one predicted, the desperate yet hopeful gamble with Ferrari, and the mistakes, politics, inner battles, and sheer bad luck that pushed a legend right to the edge. What happened to Hamilton wasn't just about pace or machinery. It was the combination of tiny fractures building into a crack big enough to derail a dynasty. But here's the twist. This story isn't finished, not even close. And what comes next might be the most important chapter of his entire career, a chapter that will determine whether Hamilton's legacy ends in redemption or in regret.
Anything, any answers anywhere? I mean, this car, they're trying to get this car in a better position for you.
Team has no problem. You've seen the cars on pole, so we probably need to change driver.
Before we jump in, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because this deep dive starts fast and only gets crazier from here. To understand the downfall, we need to start with the moment the world witnessed the unthinkable, the 2021 Abu Dhabi Grand Prix.
The finale, the title decider, under the lights here in Abu Dhabi.
Hamilton had driven the race of his life. He controlled the championship decider from the first lap. He was moments away from becoming the first man in history to win 8 world titles.
Lewis Hamilton in the lead, but will he have to give out the place?
Yes, of course he will, but the problem he's got is...
Everything about that night looked like destiny. The calm radio messages, the flawless tire management, the surgical overtakes. It felt like he had already written the final line of his legacy. But then, Latifi crashed. A safety car was deployed.
Oh no, Nicholas Latifi has crashed, and I think that is at turn 14. That will be a safety car.
And with one controversial call, everything fell apart. Max Verstappen, on brand new tires, overtook Hamilton on the final lap.
Down into turn 5 is Verstappen, far enough back, he's going to make the lunge down the inside. Hamilton sees him coming, it's a late lunge by Verstappen.
The title was gone, just like that. Now, people argue about whether the decision was fair, manipulated, chaotic, or simply a mistake. But the truth is simple. That moment broke something inside Lewis Hamilton. Not physically, not professionally, mentally. You could see it in his posture, in the silence after the race, in the way he disappeared from social media afterward.
I don't think Lewis could have done anything about that at all.
Jenson Button is down in parc ferme as Lewis Hamilton comes to embrace Max Verstappen and say well done.
Hamilton didn't just lose a championship. He lost his trust in the system, in the governing body, maybe even in the sport itself. And that wound never really healed. If 2021 was the emotional hit, 2022 was the physical one. Because Mercedes delivered the W13, a car so unstable, so unpredictable, so violently uncooperative, it literally injured him.
Floor there sparking, but not from the point of the floor that we normally see. And on the outer edge, bouncing it.
Porpoising, the brutal bouncing caused by ground effect aerodynamics, hit Mercedes harder than anyone expected. Hamilton's car shook on straights, scraped the track, and punished his body lap after lap. There were races where he could barely climb out of the cockpit, weekends where he stood hunched, holding his back, trying to force a smile for the cameras. This wasn't the Lewis Hamilton who mastered every machine thrown at him. This was a man fighting a car that fought back with every corner.
Lewis, we all know that this is a bit of a box to drive at the moment, and sorry for the back also. We will sort ourselves out. Well driven.
And while Hamilton battled pain and frustration, George Russell, the newcomer, quietly flourished. Russell beat Hamilton 19-5 in qualifying, scored Mercedes' only win of the season, and held a pace Hamilton simply couldn't extract from the same machinery. Suddenly, the narrative shifted. Is Russell the new number one? Has Hamilton lost his edge? Is age finally catching up? For the first time, Hamilton wasn't just losing races, he was losing the perception war, and perception in F1 is everything. After seasons of decline and disappointment, Hamilton made a decision nobody saw coming. He left Mercedes, the team that shaped his entire legacy, to join Ferrari. The prancing horse, the legacy of Schumacher. It was supposed to be Hamilton's redemption arc, his cinematic comeback, his final shot at writing an ending worthy of his stature. The world reacted like a movie twist. Ferrari's stock price jumped, fans lit up the internet. Italy practically declared him their adopted son. Hamilton said he wanted to write a new chapter, but he didn't know the chapter would turn into a nightmare. His first Ferrari season was not a dream, it was a disaster. The SF25, the car Ferrari gave him, was unpredictable, unstable, and inconsistent in all the worst ways. It overheated, destroyed tires, slid through corners, and punished Hamilton for even the smallest mistake. As his teammate thrived, Hamilton fell behind. He couldn't find pace, couldn't find confidence, and most importantly, couldn't find the podium. Race after race, not enough speed, unlucky strategy, mechanical failures, and rising frustration. Then came Hungary, the breaking point. Hamilton missed Q3 again. He stepped out of the car, faced the cameras, and for the first time in his 17-year career, he publicly gave up.
I'm just useless.
So say again?
I'm just useless.
But that isn't obviously the case.
It clearly
with your
is.
What?
It clearly is. Just drove terribly. It is what it is.
Was it? Did you just not feel comfortable in the car in that part of quali? Did something change?
Nothing changed.
Hearing those words from him stunned the entire paddock. This wasn't the Lewis who clawed victory from chaos. This was a man crushed under the weight of expectations and exhaustion. But the worst moment came later, Singapore, a track notorious for overheating brakes and punishing mistakes. Hamilton's Ferrari began to fail. Brake temperatures soared. The pedal dulled. Danger rose. He radioed the team, panicked, fighting a car that refused to obey him.
Okay, we should just leave them course. Brakes, my leave for you.
Yeah, I'm doing it. Big time. Lost my brakes. Lost my front.
And Ferrari? They didn't pit him. They didn't save him. They left him out there, hoping he'd survive. He limped home, devastated. Another painful chapter in a season filled with them. As Hamilton struggled, the criticism poured in. Former champions, analysts, ex-drivers, everyone had something to say. Some claimed he was too old. Some said he lost hunger. Some said Verstappen had surpassed him. Some said the sport had simply evolved past him. And whether accurate or not, Hamilton heard it all, felt it all. Each headline chipped away at the invincibility he once carried so effortlessly. This wasn't just a slump, it was a spiraling narrative, a story the world told about him, not with him. And that's when the question echoed louder than ever. Is Lewis Hamilton finished? And now, everything rests on one final chapter, the 2026 regulation change. New cars, new engines, active aerodynamics, a complete reset of Formula One. This is Hamilton's last real chance, his final opportunity to claim the 8th title he was denied. If Ferrari nails the car, Hamilton could rise again, older, wiser, and more determined than ever. But if they fail, if the car is slow, if the season starts badly, then 2026 won't just be the end of a dream. It might be the end of an entire era. So what do you think? Is Lewis Hamilton's story a tragedy or a comeback waiting to happen? Is he finished, or is he about to shock the world one final time? Drop your thoughts in the comments, hit that like button, subscribe for more F1 deep dives, and we'll see you in the next one.